this story, my story, I'll tell you right now, this chapter isn't filled with thrilling heroics or blazes of gunfire. It's about people and our struggles, and a schism that nearly ripped my new home, the Oasis, to pieces. Now, before we get into it, the only thing I can say is, it feels like an entire lifetime I've spent at the Oasis, with my people. So many people. And to cram all that into a single chapter, well, that's just not possible. So, I'll do my best to capture what we all went through as a community. When I first met Miss Shaw, I knew her family name from back at the homeland, all the good that they had done there. I didn't think much of it when she gave me that weird little grin and said hop in the back. We could use some extra hands on the farm. Well, the farm Miss Shaw was speaking about wasn't much at first, but the people there, so many of them, were beyond compare. Teachers, diplomats, soldiers, hunters, and civilians. This wasn't going to be just some farm. This was going to be a community. A town built by the sweat and toil of good, honest people. An oasis in the midst of a wasteland. And things were good at first. Under the leadership of Miss Shaw, we developed focalized departments with departmental heads. Raven got her clinic, Paul got his hunters, Creed got his scavengers, and Lynx had her diplomat. But then, things began to change with the arrival of Darius Wolf and a small army following behind him. He quickly won over Miss Shaw with his combat experience and his force of arms, becoming the Oasis Security Department. But me? I knew his type. Worked under the Ternaris government as a mercenary. Blood and gold. And if left unchecked, we would just become another dictatorship of the wastes, ruled over by the newly ordained Commander Wolf. Again and again, Commander Wolf's private army proved they did not hold the ideals or loyalties of the Oasis at heart.
Are you fucking kidding me? No. No. But keep an eye out. It seems like a lot of people are running around here.
I gotta get used to the whole, not stealing thing. Fuck,
I felt beset within the ranks of security. And besides Raven, I found solace within Alan Cortez, a man who knew how to handle a gun and was a caring doctor.
Here, come here for a moment. Take off your hat. Let me feel your forehead. Hands are warm. I recommend you sleep indoors tonight. Take the tent.
And that's where the problems really started. A new disease, a drug-resistant strain of cholera that defied all prior safety measures. It ravaged through the Oasis. But, thanks to the skills of Doc Raven and Cortez, a treatment was found. An intricate cocktail of drugs that drained away at our medical supplies, but kept the Oasis alive. And everything that had come into contact with the infection was purged in fire. The word was spread.
So I should warn you, doctor to doctor, there's a stronger, more drug-resistant strain of cholera floating about.
You've heard about the new drug-resistant strains of cholera, right? And many lives were saved. So we're going to keep monitoring you, and we're going to keep giving you a bit of a drug cocktail to try and get ahead of this thing. In the exclusion zone, knowledge is power.
The Oasis is always going to be a close friend of mine. After what you guys did for me, I'll never forget you guys.
And, well, life went on after that. The dark reality that every time we left to gather supplies could be our last was alleviated by the unmatched camaraderie from the men and women of Oasis.
You see, she and I are getting a little more familiar. It used to be it's like, I saw that coming.
We would spend long days or weeks scavenging far from the Oasis, and every return was a welcome celebration of rest. And without fail, upon each of our returns, we were left awestruck at the progress being made on construction here. For a short time, we all found bliss. Our toil and sweat materialized into what would become a home, built from nothing. But as all things in life, change is inevitable. I could feel the darkness festering within our security force. A man like Darius could never embody the nature of Oasis. So on a short supply run without, I was finally given a chance to get some things off my chest. Finally, when we hit the North Strip, we'll cut east and move down to a concrete pad lined with some shipping containers, then back northwest into the tent barracks.
How do you know this place so well?
When I first washed up on shore, I came here often, looking for any semblance of discarded documents to tell me what happened to Solomon.
You don't really talk about it much anymore, do you?
Nobody gets a happy ending out here.
I see. What? You seem happy with Raven.
Well, yes, but also no. I care for her dearly, and every day has become a struggle. I just want to keep her safe. But the more I see of what's happening to the Oasis, the more I fear for her.
Come on, speak your mind, Church. You know this stays between the two of us. What have you been seeing?
It's Darius and his private army. He's not a leader. He doesn't command the respect of his men. Now, multiple times, I've been the one that had to speak or threaten his soldiers not to rob someone along the road. They're mercenaries. It's a gut feeling I have. But soon, I know something bad is going to happen.
Church, I have fought men who only care for blood and gold my whole life. So I know what you are feeling. Know if something happens, I will have your back. The Oasis, its people, its ideals, is to grow together and become something more than the sum of its parts. For we are a community, a family, and we always will be around for each other.
But in the end, it wasn't Alan that came to my aid. It was someone else that I held so near and dear to my heart. You see, we had gained wealth, and Commander Wolf ordered a military uniform for his security personnel. It had been many long years since I had donned something like this, and I didn't sleep well. The night terrors came back, but thank the kind heart of Miss Shaw, who had hats milled emblazoned with the Oasis symbol. I know it doesn't seem like much, but it was everything to me. Something to proudly bear and show my true allegiance. Something to assure me that this time in the uniform would be different. Thing is, Commander Wolf did not take kindly to my choice. You see, I was out of uniform, and all my rage, my anger, boiled to the surface. What would this mercenary know of the uniform? Who was he to dictate my loyalties? I owed nothing to a man like him, and everything to the Oasis and Miss Shaw. You do what you gotta do, and I'm gonna do what I have to do.
Oh, and what's that?
Although we do have company.
Hello.
Oh, hey there, Doc Raven.
Hello.
I was just getting a bit of a tongue lashing from the commander here about my hat.
Hello.
Well, I don't. To be honest, it's not the hat that pissed me off. What else were you calling me? A simple mercenary and shit?
I calls them as I sees them.
What was that?
I said, I calls them as I sees them.
Oh, and what does you see? And what do you see? Huh?
I see a man that hasn't inspired loyalty in his fellow comrades. I see a man that hasn't actually done his duty as Miss Shaw asked.
Get out of the uniform. You're... Miss Lynx, Miss Lane, come here, please. Church here is no longer security of Oasis, and if he doesn't get out of that uniform, he will be shot.
What's going on, Church?
The commander's being a little bit grouchy right now.
Fucking knock it off.
Really? One more time, and I'll shoot you too.
I wouldn't goddamn do that.
Really? Really?
Fucking
Damn
don't
straight.
you handcuff
Going
him
on
over
here?
a fucking argument, dumbass.
Go around threatening members of the Oasis, damn straight I'm gonna protect them.
Get the fuck out of the uniform, Church.
Relax, guys. Put your guns away, please.
Get out of the uniform.
I think we should possibly
Okay.
have a
Raven,
discussion about this.
Doctor,
Oh, no,
just...
We have an issue here now. That's the fucking...
Okay. Church, come on. Put the gun away. Please. Thank you.
I'd prefer not to harm any member of the Oasis, including you, Commander, but you start threatening other
Get
members.
out of the fucking uniform! Or you deaf or dumb! Or you attacked me. We have another issue. We're gonna discuss this.
Oh, you are being unreasonable. You do not need to
Come
say
inside.
something about this.
Come inside with me, Church.
Unreasonable.
You are
Nah.
unreasonable.
Shut the fuck up. I'm not talking to you right now. I'm gonna deal with you later. I deal with my people as the head of security. You do not interfere. I do not interfere with your doctors, do I? No. And second of all, if I deal with an issue, you do not attack me. Is that fucking clear? I don't give a fuck
Maybe
who you
later.
are, but is that clear?
Alright, Raven, let's go. I'll catch you later, Lynx.
I'll come back in that uniform.
Churchy pal.
Hey, Lynx.
Hi. So that was a thing.
Well, what can I say? I can't respect a man that has no moral compass.
What do you mean?
From what I heard, he was a mercenary. But beyond that, everything that I've seen him do, he's not a fucking leader. He shouldn't be head of the Oasis security.
I can understand if you got a problem with him. There should be better ways to go about it than the way we just did.
Well, you're gonna have to take that up with Commander Wolf, because he's the one that drew on me. and I only drew on him to protect Raven. I'm not gonna let anything happen to her. I've already lost one person I care about. I'm not gonna lose a second.
No, I agree. It shouldn't have escalated to that point. But whether you respect the man or not, you have to, like, as a man. But as his position.
I followed
you have to
every
respect
order
that.
he's ever given me, except for this hat, because my loyalty lies with Miss Shaw and the Oasis. I came here because of her, not because of him. So he's not making me take it off.
I mean, if you don't respect the man, maybe security isn't right for you. A head of security has to be decisive and be able to make decisions on the spot. And
Decisions on the spot to go
we
and
have to
threaten the life of other members. Yeah, damn straight. What a great leader he is.
Yeah, I think I'll discuss what happened with him as well. But
We'll see. That, my opinion of him wasn't great before. Now that he starts to show his true colors, someone questions his authority or tries to interfere, and he points a gun at them. You don't point a gun at someone unless you're willing to use it. No. I'm done with the security. He can go and fuck himself. Miss Shaw needs a bodyguard, the doctors need somebody to watch their backs, I'm there, but to be honest, Wolf asks for help, I don't think I'm gonna answer.
I don't know what to say.
It's okay, like, sometimes you just don't gotta say anything. Link's Lane, ever the voice of reason. And that's another part of our story. You see, she had a dream, a united Chernarus, which stood as a reimagined United Nations for the exclusion zone and its people. Like the others in our community, she was spectacular. And like the others, we talked, though. She was one of the few that could drag out anything for my relationship with Raven. But I won't get too far ahead of myself. The tragedy that befell the United Chernarus movement comes later. Raven and I left the Oasis that day, and I was shown to those that she called friends, the Tower, led by Karumba, meeting and greeting the hardened survivors that worked with her, Thyre amongst them. I didn't know it yet, but he would be a man that I would owe everything to by the end of this story. But once again, I'm getting ahead of myself. Eventually, Raven and I received a radio message from Miss Shaw.
Church, Raven, come home. I heard what happened. Let's all talk this out.
Upon our return, Miss Shaw attempted to mediate things between Wolf and I. It did not go well. Miss Shaw can be fierce, but Darius, he is another thing entirely.
So if someone pulls a gun on you or attacks you, would you defend yourself?
And you thought lethal force against the head doctor in the Oasis was the right response to that?
Does it fucking matter?
Aimless for a spell, it was Link's Lane who approached me to ask the hard questions, made me think about why I was here, and to give my body and soul was the answer. When I joined the Oasis, we had plenty of doctors, so I thought I could do more with my gun than I could with my scalpel. But Link showed me the power of words. Not every weapon cuts flesh, and not every shield exists physically. With the right words, I could do more than just help the Oasis. With the unassailable truth of the written word, I could help anyone willing to read it. At a community meeting, Miss Shaw legitimized my promotion to editor-in-chief of the Gazette, and with my new position came new responsibilities. So, despite all of my apprehensions, I went to bury the hatchet with Commander Wolf. And that's when I learned the horrible truth.
I shot my own wife and children when they became sick.
Darius Wolf, a man broken by the wasteland.
I
HK 416
have put my life in danger over and over for other people.
No, it's
Why
not
would I do
the
that if I
same
don't give a fuck about them? You know?
Fighting against his past to reach for a future. A future that he would eventually find within the embrace of Allie Clark. Over the passing weeks, Darius retreated away from the Oasis and towards Allie, handing more and more of his duties off to his second-in-command, Captain Hunter. And on an overcast day, it was only Captain Hunter and one other security officer who guarded the Oasis, as a Zill rolled across the field, filled to the brim with soldiers, donned with the best equipment money could buy. Everyone fled into the safety of our buildings as the two security personnel stood outside to await the coming army. Piling out of their truck, they began making demands that security should not be brandishing firearms in their presence, and that Miss Shaw had invited them here, although none of us had been informed. Captain Hunter played it smart, being courteous in any manner he could. Men of power always plying to flattery. But then, the leader of this army, he said something that was a mite concerning.
Yes, I've seen what this is intended to be when it's finished.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
And it only got stranger when Miss Shaw arrived.
Hi guys, how's it going?
Stay there. I've heard much about
Hey.
you. It's a pleasure to finally meet.
Hello. Yeah, it's a very good pleasure to meet you too. It's Cardinal, right?
It is. A mutual acquaintance of ours has very good things to say about.
The greetings felt odd, like they had been manufactured. And a mutual acquaintance Miss Shaw failed to tell anyone about? Knowing what the plans for the Oasis were, it just felt off. But I trusted Taylor's judgment at the time. Suddenly, Miss Shaw had an epileptic fit and was carted away to a back room for treatment, leaving us alone with the Cardinal for introductions.
So, I know of Mr. Carrot, and what is your name, the one in the white?
Doc Raven, I'm the head of medicine at the Oasis.
And who is this one here?
Hayden Church, but you can call me Church. Chief editor of the Oasis Gazette.
Probably go to church every day.
I can call you Church. Very well. I quite like your name, Mr. Church.
As we awaited Miss Shaw's recovery, the Cardinal asked for a tour.
And what is this building we're entering?
This is our security building. This is primarily for the security team. This is also where we have our supplies in case of emergencies.
Very good. Very good. Quite imposing. I like the architecture.
And the more we walked and talked, the more unsettling his wealth of information appeared to be.
It was a pleasure to finally meet you all. I've read lots about many of you, but it's nice to put names to faces.
When we finally stopped in the clinic, taking shelter from the winds, the Cardinal got a look in his eyes as Raven let out a stifled laugh.
What is this? What is this laughter that I'm hearing? It's coming from who? It's coming from her?
My heart pounded in my chest, and my body moved on its own to stand between Raven and the Cardinal.
Why are you laughing?
All kinds of solutions. Most people jump to cannibalism first, and then others will say no, it could be weed, and then others say it could also be alcohol, but not really alcohol. I'm never sober. Oh, it's sober.
I'm not asking what others say, I'm asking why you are laughing.
I am a cannibal doctor. I am the friendly cannibal doctor. I don't hunt people to eat them.
So you are telling me that you consume the flesh of men?
Sometimes, yes.
And why is this?
Different times call for different measures.
You've given us plenty of food as we've arrived. You don't have enough for yourself? Why would you resort to such blasphemous things? Boggles the mind why you would do this to yourself. Stand aside, Mr. Church. I'm speaking with the doctor.
I think I'll stay where I am, thanks.
You don't need to defend me, Church.
Oh, I know.
Right, this is civilized. I don't need to explain my life because I don't hurt people to enjoy it.
Explain what this means.
It means I don't shoot people to eat them. That's pretty much as simple as it gets. If somebody
so where do you acquire
perishes, accidents usually people falling off.
Again, you've yet to answer the question, for what purpose?
Isn't it obvious for what purpose?
Accidents in a clinic.
Yeah, there's not many accidents in the clinic. We currently don't have a
certainly
clinic.
hope not.
But there's been plenty of accidents. We've had deaths because of super cholera, people falling through the barbed wire on the security, people getting mauled by bears, occasional starvation.
Again, you have plenty of food. So why?
Everything dies, Mr. Cardinal, and everything's food for something else.
Most heretical. Most heretical.
You could slice the tension with a knife. My hand tensed and ready if something were to happen. But thank the gods, this little encounter was interrupted.
You can say that if you wish, Cardinal.
Need all hands on deck. We got a wounded man. All hands on deck.
Guess if we could please have everyone exit the clinic so we could give this patient privacy, please. We will head to the UN building and we can talk more there.
Cool. I think I've seen enough.
I apologize for the
Mr.
words.
Carrot.
And as the hand piled back into their truck, I could feel the tension slowly release from Captain Hunter. Though, even still, he was always on guard.
Some seem a little off to you about the Cardinal, Captain?
I don't know, sir.
Hold on. Now that was a shit show.
With the hand finally across the horizon, the oasis was set abuzz.
How I cured my disease was sweating it out by the fire.
The Cardinal in their group? Yeah, something gave me a bad feeling about them.
Today's not a very good day.
Yeah, a little bit tense.
I have a feeling I'm gonna have pitchforks and torches on my
Did it
doorstep
end up getting
soon.
10?
Oh, ain't no way we're gonna let that
How are you
happen.
doing there? As an innocent
Church,
human?
please tell me who those
War off
people
here?
are.
Dude, they're the hand.
Whatever they're calling
Doctor-
them, we were caught off guard for sure.
That was good on you for
have a-
security, though. The two of you got.
I'm gonna have a talk with Michelle about this.
Yeah. That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, I think I need another. Little too much
I
action.
defend myself.
Yeah. Rolled up here with that many well-armed guys, I don't know what kind of fucking welcome they were expecting.
He's talking to the captain. Probably very angrily if I had to take an educated guess.
I don't know, man.
Go back to business. Security, we'll talk about this more tomorrow. We're gonna have a meeting. I'll make sure the word is passed out.
Security or not, I felt the need to protect my people. And the Hand, whoever they were, had the manpower to leave a spotter in the tree line to observe us after their departure.
I'm gonna take a quick patrol around the tree line just to be sure. You think any of the Hand are lurking around nearby?
Hard to tell. But nah. I don't think so actually. There is something they want. They will talk to Taylor, and there is something. I think there is something they are interested.
I thanked the loyalty of Jello and Johnny. As we walked and talked, it became more apparent their hearts lied within the oasis itself.
I'm sorry, but I don't know if I can trust those guys.
I know, we're gonna have a nice chat about this.
Yeah. The attitude they had, and like, I don't know. My stomach feels like.
Feels not good, eh?
I have a bad feeling about this. I have a bad feeling about this.
Raven decided it would be best to grab some additional armaments from her friends at the tower. But as we returned, we were walking into a ghost town.
Over here. In here. Come on.
What's happening?
There were shots fired.
Where?
Security went out to check on it.
What direction did the shots come from?
I don't know. I don't have a compass.
That's north. North, east, southwest.
That way, this way. This way.
Okay. I'm gonna get on the balcony, you guys stay safe.
That's it. That's it.
Oh, I see people in the field. Oh, that's our scav. And that's security. Soldier, what's going on?
1 second.
Captain, what's going on? Oasis, I heard, was in lockdown. Mishaw's in here. Weird gunshots.
Mishaw left with the Hand.
And she had a security detail with her?
I was not told. She wanted to go alone. That is all I know. I'm in the dark as much as you all are.
Do you have a team out there?
You know what I know. And that is nothing. She said it had to be alone.
I don't like sitting around on my ass just waiting for something.
Unfortunately, we all are.
I think we got a problem. Mishaw went alone to the Hand.
She went alone?
She went alone.
As I looked back at my friends, my family, I knew what I had to do.
Mishaw needs a bodyguard, the doctors need somebody to watch their backs, I'm there.
Security may have the obligation to protect the Oasis, but me, no longer held within the confines of the security department, I could ensure Mishaw's safety. Pulling the Oasis hat off my head was harder than I thought it would be. But whatever I was about to do, whatever I was prepared to do, it was no place for the Oasis emblem. I gave my home one final look before turning to make my way to Baron Zeno, and along the way sent Captain Hunter a radio message. Just in case something happens to me out here, please tell Raven I'm sorry. I never was good at goodbyes. After what seemed an eternity of running, I finally arrived and found my perch over top Berezino. After sending out a discreet message to Miss Shaw, Miss Shaw, don't draw attention to this message. I am outside with my long rifle. If you need help, just give me a signal. I received one from Raven. I guess I should have known that she would notice my absence.
Where the hell did you go?
Sorry, hon. I couldn't bring myself to say goodbye in person. And I don't know what's gonna happen next. I couldn't take you where I was going. But whatever happens, I'm gonna make sure Miss Shaw gets home safe.
Okay, I understand. But I'm letting you know now, I'm punching you in the arm when I see you again for being reckless.
I'd expect nothing less from you. Don't worry too much. I'll play it safe out here. They tried sweeping my building, but missed me already. As I watched Miss Shaw through my scope, day turned to night, and even in the freezing cold, I stayed myself for the long haul. Miss Shaw seemed to be getting a tour. All seemed well, but I couldn't help but think why Miss Shaw deigned going alone was the right choice. What were they talking about down there? Well, I guess that's just a mystery left unsolved. Because as day broke, Miss Shaw left Berezino, headed home. Once the patrols cleared out, I made my exit as well. In a single day, tensions surrounding the oasis ripped from 1 to 100, and I knew we would not be done dealing with the Hand. But we had other problems on the horizon, as a couple days later, Commander Wolf announced he would be stepping down as Oasis head of security. The stress had simply become too much, and now he had something to lose. His relationship with Allie Clark had blossomed onto the verge of a marriage. Commander Wolf planned an extravaganza as a going-away party, and during the days of planning leading up to the event, the first issue of the Oasis Gazette was put to print. A new world dawns. The paper drew much attention to the Oasis, and in turn, the party, which turned out to be a head-turning festival of music, boxing, and paintball. And lo and behold, my dear old friend Paul finally arrived back at the Oasis, having been on a hunting trip out in the mountains. The joy in his eyes as he was reunited with his daughter Sammy was a sight to behold. We talked, and people drank the night away into a stupor. Then Miss Shaw approached me alongside Lynx. While everyone was distracted with the party, the three of us would go out in secret to meet with several factions about the United Chernarus movement. The reason for this secrecy? I could only speculate upon that for the time being. Whoever we were to meet with were obviously those not welcomed with open arms by the people of the Oasis. But I agreed not to say anything. A man of true convictions must stand by his loyalties. And a chance to see the UC birth to fruition was worth keeping a couple secrets for the time being. Now, Lynx Lane's dream, the United Chernarus movement. I talked about it briefly before, but truly, it merits more than a passing mention in this story. It was to be a neutral assembly, where everyone, large or small, would be given a voice. In the works was the drafting of a charter, to proclaim the rights and freedoms of all who fell beneath the umbrella of such an ambitious organization. To stand in the presence of such an idea is indescribable. We had the chance to change the world, to bring order to chaos, and usher in a new age for Chernarus. From settlement to settlement we traveled, spreading the word of Lynx Lane's dream. First, we visited the Kings County Sheriff Department to speak with Sheriff Arthur himself. Stubborn and hard-headed man that I may have been judgmental of in my paper, but I still admired him as a man. And whatever I might have or will write came from a place of hope, to hold him up to the lofty standard of what his position entailed. If law and order was to be brought back to the wasteland, then Sheriff Arthur would have to be the best that he could be, and I couldn't wait to see what the future held for him and his department. From there, we ventured to the heart of Berezino to speak with the Cardinal. Things were tense, but cordial.
Yes, I'm cordial.
This is my diplomat, Miss Lindsay Lane, and this is my associate, Mr. Church.
Hello.
Yes, I believe I've been acquainted to Mr. Church.
We're traveling around, meeting a few of the faction heads, and formally extending our invite to our secure comms for the United Chinars.
Right. Okay. Yeah, you just spoke to Mr. Weasel. Yeah, you just spoke to Mr. Weasel.
In the exclusion zone, knowledge is power. And finally, it was becoming apparent that the power that the Cardinal held, the true length and breadth of which I would not understand until much later. And from there, we visited the Mao Clinic down the street, run by Dr. Athena Daniels, proclaimed priestess of the faith. With so many factions willing and waiting to join the United Chernars movement, we all had hope the dream of Lynx Lane would come to fruition. Our hearts full of hope, we did not fully grasp the tenuous position that the Oasis sat in, as a couple days after the party, Darius Wolf and L.A. Clark left the Oasis to start a life of peace. This is what began the schism, as more and more people began to leave. What was once a well-manned colony with its own armed forces became a weakened settlement, ripe for disaster. That night, in a restless sleep, I truly appreciated what was left of the Oasis. Miss Shaw, Doc Raven, Paul, Allen, Captain Hunter, Lynx Lane, and even some of the goofballs. Cello, that poor sod who got addicted to pain meds. Daniel Maston, future guardian of the Oasis. Sammy Poppin, daughter of Paul, the rapscallion who had more energy than sense. Truescape, who was my very first reporter. And Robert Burns, an investigative journalist worthy of the name. And a damn good kid. So many people to care for. So many people to protect. And I failed as I woke up to Lynx's voice over the radio.
Well, apparently I have a minute to say my last goodbyes. Those that oppose peace, unity, to suit their own ends, they fail me. All I want is an opportunity for a brighter future for all of us. They may make an example of me, but I encourage you, continue to stand up for what you believe in. Don't seek vengeance. Carry on the legacy of friendship, cooperation. Oh, I love you all.
Lynx Lane, diplomat, scholar, friend, was dead. The United Chernarus movement, a hope at civilization, was dead.